Hello friends, this is Ganesh and video number 1 on BDC, and this is one of the concepts in ABAP, batch data communication. This is going to be used for data transfer, business data transfer between two different database. It has its own flow, design, and as a developer we should know few technical details before writing any BDC program. We have an option in SAP. SAP will write a program for us. Okay, so that is one good option for BDC, and is a very lengthy program, depends on how many fields we are using in a transaction or a screen. And a point here is BDC is not recommended for any development. Okay, so they introduced very long back, and they might felt this is not going to work for long, and they decided to come back with some other solution. An alternative for BDC is normally BAPI. So what actually BDC is doing is just transfer the data from one place to another place, one database to another database. So BAPI also does it, right? BAPI also do the same. So why BDC is not recommending is BDC is closely associated with screens, transactions. And every new release of a product, SAP, there might be a chance of enhancing the screen. Like they might have added new fields, they might have uh, removed some fields from the existing screen. There is very rare chance of changing the name of the feed, screen field. So there are some chances. So BDC is not okay for longer run. So for a different version. So that is the reason it's not recommended to go with the BDC. And moreover, we have an alternative for that, right? So and if you get a chance to change any existing BDC program, then you should know the flow and technical details of the BDC. And still many programs are having this BDC concept. And if you get a chance of changing any BDC fields, like there are some BDC program, we have to accommodate some changes. If you have a time, better change the entire BDC flow into a BAPI or some other way. Okay, if you have a chance and you have a time for that. Okay, so that is the best part. So I will explain the need of BDC and why is required, what is the design, what are the technical things to be done, and what are the transactions involved in it. And it has two different types way of writing a BDC program or using a BDC program. One is call transaction, another one is session. And in this video, mostly I will go with call transaction method only. Okay, so let's get into the slide. So why BDC is, the answer is to just transfer the business data. So very basic scenario is there is a company, they have a system owner, they have the front end and back end is working fine, and the company decided to just change the front end solution depends on their need. Okay, and the front end solution they change, and that front end solution is good to communicate with the existing or current database, then that is not a big deal or big issue. They might have some connection change and some syntax change, whatever it is, and they're good to go. Suppose if the new solution is required a different database that is not compatible with the existing database, then what needs to be done is to run the new solution, the customer, the business wants to move the data from the existing database to new database. Okay, so at least few years of data to be moved to a new database. Might be you aware of it, the master data is all to be moved. You know the terminology called cutover activity, right? So we have to move all the master data before start running the new solution. So because that is a very basic data to run any solution, so that needs to be done. So data transfer process, this is for any product, not only SAP. So any product, if they are going to change the solution along with the new database, they have to move the data from old database to new database. It's very basic process. And the options are either directly communicate between the database and move the data, or you can use a medium between the databases. It could be a file or some other medium. So move all the data from your existing database to a file and file to the new database. So here the program involves, it's not immediately it's good. Some medium needs to be get the data from the file and put it in the database. Okay, very generic terms. And another options or design would be there may be a temporary database and provide a read access to the new solution, and the programmers they may read the data whenever is required. Might be they moved all the data, or whenever they require they'll just go and they get the data from the temporary database. This scenario is going to be they're going to run the both database in parallel. Okay, so in that is the case, they can go ahead with this third option. And we have many options to move the data from existing database to new database. So we have used this option especially for the SAP, excuse me, implementation projects. So fresh implementation projects from ECC 5 or 4.7, very long back, probably most of the people worked. Once you're done with the new SAP implementation, the data from your legacy system to be moved to the SAP database. Okay, so for that we used this concept BDC. On top of it, probably the functional they may use LSMW because it doesn't require the code level. So it's very handy for functional people. They can write their own design in LSMW. That is also going to do the same thing, transfer the data from a source to a database. So going forward, we can say as source, not directly from the database, could be a file. It's a source, it has all the existing data. With the help of that source, we are going to move all the data to a new database system. Okay, so these are the options available. And in SAP, we have a concept called batch data communication for this process. So BDC data entry model, like BDC, I prefer personally, it's look like a data entry model. So you know what is data entry, right? So the data is available either in the piece of paper or in some other file, and we have to take the data and feed it in a screen, feed it in a screen, and the screen has a save button. If you click save, automatically whatever data we entered, it just go and added in the database table, respective database table. So this is the idea of data entry model. So we are going to follow the same thing in SAP also. Okay, and it's like we are going to take the data from a file. Maybe the file is in our application layer or in a desktop or wherever it is. Okay, and SAP has its own product screen. Depends on the business scenario, like sales VA01, purchase order ME21N, or metal creation MM01. So kind of, okay, so we have different transaction on different screens. With the help of the screen, and we are going to add the information to the database table. This is also kind of data entry. Take the data from here, put it in the screen, click save, it will go and update in your database table. So this is the idea of BDC. Okay, and data source might differ. So here I preferred a file. It may be a direct information or a temporary database, whatever it is. Source might be differed. So BDC design us like this. Take the data from a file. I have a transaction. Keep the data in field 1, field 2, field 3, field 4. Once you've filled, probably you might have one more screen. Go to the next screen and fill field 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and finally click the save button. This transaction has a standard program that will take care. Once you click save, automatically everything is going updated in the relevant tables. If you take sales information, all the header, all the item details are going to be updated in a different tables, right? So that there's already taken care of it. So don't worry about it. So our part is just to move the data from the particular source to a SAP relevant transaction. That's it. Okay, that is the information, or that is the communication we have to pass to the BDC program. So some technical details you have to know. For example, this is our transaction. Remember, you're going to give a proper instruction to the BDC program, then it'll work perfectly. Okay, so instruction is very simple. Go to this file, take the first record. That record has many fields. Take the first field value, keep it here. Same record, take the second field here, third field, fourth field. Once everything is done, and trigger the save button. Okay, then rest will take care from the SAP side. Okay, just trigger the save button. So this is the instruction in the program. You have to pass this instruction only. To provide this instruction, we need some technical details. So that is, what is the transaction name? Every transaction has a name in SAP. And what is a program name for this transaction? Every transaction has its own program. And what is a screen number? Okay, a transaction may have more than one screen number. So what is the current screen number? what is the field name of this, and what is the OK code of save. So this details is required to write a BDC program. Okay. And all these informations are available in a structure called BDC data. Okay. And what else? Yeah, the BDC data as a structure, it has 5 fields. Program, Dynpro, another name or technical name for screen number in SAP is Dynpro. You could aware of it. Dyn begin, screen start indicator is always X. And field name, what is the field name of your screen field and what is the value you have to pass. Okay, so these informations are available in a structure called BDC data. And how to find the technical details of a transaction. So how to find all the existing, whatever I have explained, to find it. Through F1, you're able to get it. You might aware of it. If you press F1, you'll get a pop-up. In the pop-up, it shows the documentation of the particular field, document number, what needs to be done, yes, no, and everything. And there is a button called technical information. If you click, you will get all the technical information of the entire transaction. What is the program, not only for the field. What is the program, what is the screen number, what is the GUI status name, and what is the data element, what is the screen field, everything you will get it. Okay, but you can't go with the F1. The problem is, suppose you need 25 fields to be updated in one flow. One record has 25 different fields, and the 25 different field is spread out in 2 or 3 screens of a transaction. If you take ME21N or some other transaction, you may have more than one screen also. In that case, F1 won't work. So SAP provided a transaction called SHDB transaction recorder. It's very simple, just record. It's going to record whatever you're going to performing in the transaction. Okay. So for that, they always say go with the very good data for SHDB, because SHDB records your mistakes also. While recording in the transaction, suppose you will get a message saying the plant is not available, the material is not extended the plant. So these are errors, right? That record the errors also. So that is not good to write a BDC program, because mostly the BDC program is run by or generated by SAP. So we are not going to do manually. But in this process, in this video, I will explain manually first, then we'll go with the standard way of creating a BDC program. And SHDB is a client dependent object. SAP has client dependent and client independent concept, and SHDB is a client dependent object. Mostly, if sometimes you have an option to work with 2 different clients in one system, in development system itself. One is for test client, one is for development client. And test client has enough data. Development client, we don't have enough data. So the SHDB to be executed in the client which has a data, client data, and then after that you have to move this information, because the client dependent. So you can't expect the same thing is available in development client also, definitely no. So what you have to do is you have to do an import export option, like you have to convert entire recording as a file, keep it in a desktop, and go to the development client and upload it for your need. Because why we need a SSDB? We have to write the program. Okay, means SAP has to write the program. If you want to manually write, you don't want to do it, but SAP has to write it. Then the recording is recorded in your development client also. So you have to do the this file import and export option. I'll show you that. So this is SHDB, and types of BDC call transaction and BDC session. Most preferable is BDC session method, because it has a lot of options available to store your data. It's very easy to regenerate, re-execute your failed options. So many things are available. Call transaction is a very simple report program. Once you execute and come out of the program, you don't have a log. Mainly we go for the log for BDC. For BDC session. Okay, so today we're going to see about call transaction. So call transaction syntax is call transaction code, whatever code you need, using an internal table. This is the reference of BDC data structure. This internal table has the entire details or entire instructions what needs to be done for one record. Okay, for just one record. If a file has 100 records, every time this internal table should hold only one record, not all the records. Okay. one record at a time. But here one record is actually splitted into many many lines. So I'm not saying one line, one record, but it is actually divided into so many lines. Okay, so and the entire, suppose we have 100 lines in internal table, all the 100 lines belongs to one record only. Okay, so every new record we are actually refreshing this internal table. So that is the internal table referenced by BDC data. And there are two options. We have mode AEN, update ASL, and messages into an internal table. What happened for each record? This I will explain next slide. What happened to each record that is going to be recorded or captured in this internal table? It has its own structure, BDC MSGCOLL. Okay. Okay, and this is a syntax for your call transaction, and then mode and update. So mode is nothing but AEN, single alphabets. So A represents display all screen. Mode is nothing but how you want to execute your BDC program. You want to execute your BDC program in A mode, meaning it display all the screens. Okay, this is going to be used only for testing purpose. You developed the BDC program, you want to make sure everything is working fine, all the relevant field values are going and keep in the exact field in the screen fields, and it triggers the save button. Yes, it created the database table. So for the testing purpose, we go with A. Because if you have a file has 100 records, if you go with A, what happens? Every time it opens all the screens for you and waiting for your input. So manually you have to say, okay, go save, exit, come back and everything. So that is not advisable for longer run, only for testing purpose. E for error. Out of 100, if there isn't any error, this is also mainly used for testing purpose only. So some large volume of data, if you want to test it, so at that time we have to go with E. So 1000 records from a file, I want to move to a database table. So if any error happens, just stop it over there. So what happens? Out of 1000, suppose you have an error on 125th record, automatically it pop-ups the error for you. What exact error is happening in the transaction. Plant does not exist, material does not exist. So that pop-ups in your BDC run. Okay, and N is even a success or error, please don't show any screens. Mostly we go with N for the runtime, real time. Okay, in the productions we go with N because it captures the error as well, but it won't stop in the middle. Because E is it stopped. You have to clear the particular error, or you have to ignore the particular record, then only it will continue with the other records, next record. But N, no, it just executes the full file, whichever record is good, it just go and updated it. Okay, and update mode. So update mode slowly, or you just remember the logical unit of work concept. It's very simple. I have a session, I have a update session. Whenever there is an update triggered, update in the sense I want to insert, delete, whatever it is, the database update, right? Triggered, that is a session. Just imagine there is a session. All the controls, all the instructions go to the particular session and it will update in the database table. So what happens if it is asynchronous? Here it's a sequence of record is going to update using the same transaction. So like 5 materials are creating that. So material 1 goes to database and it's about to create, because it want to settle in all the database tables, right? It might need some time, not many, a few seconds is required. And then finally it's updated everything. Then the backend system like database sends a information saying that yes, it's updated correctly. Then the update system is sending the second record. So this is a normal behavior of your update session and your database tables. Here, if you say A, what happens is it won't wait for the confirmation for the first record, whether it's success or not. Once it is sent, automatically it sends the next one also. So it depends on how we are sending through BDC. So record 1 is go and updated it, 80% done, immediately second record comes because it's in a loop, right? It's come very fast. So second record also it pushes to the database, update it. So asynchronous is faster, but there may be a very little chance of some error might happen. Okay, without updating the first record, we are sending the second record. It's very rare we are getting any issues with the asynchronous. Synchronous is it will wait till the first record completes and get the success message from your database side. Okay, then it will send the second record. That is synchronous. Synchronous is a little slower compared to asynchronous, not a bigger change you can see. It's very, very minute difference only you can able to see between A and S, but preferable is yes. Okay, so why we want to take a risk while sending data sequentially? So better we go with the S option. L is local. There is a syntax called set task local, or set update task local. I believe so. Meaning, please don't go to that particular session, update session. Please update through locally. Okay, so that is the reason we go with the L. But preferable in this is N for real time, like in production. But testing and all, A and E is fine. And here you can go with yes. So this is the syntax of call transaction method in BDC. What is this? Okay, flow. Actually, how I'm going to write a code is I'm going to have a file, either it may be a .txt, .xls, .csv, whatever it is. Move the information from the file to an internal table. Very technically, I'm saying. And from that internal table, pass the informations to your transaction field using call transaction method. Okay, and along with that, you have to give the exact OK code or function code of the button. So once it is triggered, automatically it will update in the database table. So this is the flow which normally we are going to write. We are going to give the instruction. Like instruction is like go to the field, go to the file, take the first. Okay, it is a one-time file and everything comes from internal table. Loop the internal table, get the first record. In that first record, take the first value and go to the transaction. Keep it here. Field 2 here, field 3, field 4, and press enter. Probably it might go to the second screen. So go to the second screen. So everything you have to pass the information. What is the screen number? What is the program name of the screen number? Everything to be instructed properly in the BDC program. Then finally everything is loaded. Finally trigger the save button. Then it will update it in your database table. So this is the BDC flow which we are going to follow in today's video. Yeah, that's it. Let me get into my system. So before we get into the program, we need to know few areas like structures and some transactions. So we'll go one by one. Go to a transaction like, sorry, S11, and the structure is BDC data. And this is the fields of the structure. What is the program, intro, screen number, begin. So here you can find out. And what is the field name and what is the field value from your file or from your source. Okay, so this is one important structure, and another structure would be BDC message call. Excuse me, this is the one. So it has very simple fields. What is the Tcode? It captured everything actually. What is the message type, error or success? What is the messages? Everything is captured. We are going to use this structure also to design an internal table to capture all the informations for each record. Okay, and another transaction is I'm going to show you a transaction, very simple transaction. As I mentioned, BDC is not recommended for any new development. So if you have anything for a special, don't use it. Especially don't use any complex transactions like VA01 or ME21N. It has a lot of fields involved. Okay. So here I'm going to use very simple transaction as a beginning, like FI01 is the transaction which creates a bank, and the associated table is BNKA. So this is the table for FI01 transaction. So I will run through the transaction first, then we'll record it. Okay. So FI01. So this bank country, I preferred some country. So, okay, Australia, and I can say A125, some name, and press enter. It takes you to the next screen. A bank and the region. I need to get some region here. Based on the country, it select the region. These are kind of master data, and street, 90th Street. City is okay, it's main branch, and I'm going to click save. Okay, so once I click save, the information whatever I enter, it shows is created. It's available in a table BNK. Let's check. A1526 is a number, and enter the field, table name called BNKA. So open BNK table, BNKA table, and A1526, believe I'm not wrong. Execute, yes. So A back, right. So it's got created, right? So this is a way it works, the transaction works. So now we have to write up code saying that get the data from my file, keep it in the internal table and loop it. Inside the loop, for every record, I'm going to give a proper instruction, open a FI01 transaction, go to the first field, keep my bank key and bank country key, go to the second field, keep my bank number and press enter. It takes you to the next screen and there are four fields to be filled from my file data. Fill it and click save. This is the instruction I have to write in my BDC program. So for that, first I have to start with the transaction recorder because I should know what is the program name, what is the screen number, what is the field name, and what is the OK code from FI01 with two screens. Okay, so let's start with SHDB transaction recorder. This is a transaction recorder and click new recording. So recorder name, I can say FIREC. And like finance FI01 recording, okay, FI01 REC, and transaction code is FI01, and update mode I prefer synchronous, and click start recording. Once you click start recording, you will get FI01. The system automatically open the transaction for you and just go with the data. Make sure you're not getting any error because this records your error as well. And enter the data first screen, enter the data second screen and click save. Once you click save, automatically it close the recording and come back to SSDB. Okay. And in the middle, when actually the SSDB captured all the technical details is whenever any event is happen in a particular screen. Here we have two screens, screen 1 and screen 2. It has its own number. Screen 1, the event is enter. If I press enter, at that time it start capturing the entire details of the transaction, entire details of the screen. And second screen, if I press save, that is the event capture. Once you click save, any event happens, then only SSDB start recording. It's not like every time it's not recording. No, if any event happen, then it start recording the details from the backend. Okay, so that is the way SSDB works. We'll see. I'm going to click start recording and you will get FI01 screen. This is the previous data which I entered. I'll go with 7. I'm going to press enter. Now SHDB start recording the transaction details. What is the transaction code? What is the program name? What is the screen number? What is the field name? And what is the field value also? And what is the technical field name and field value? Okay. Enter. Yes, done. It just come to the next screen. And here I will give AB Bank. Region, go the same, QL, street, 68, and main office, main branch. Okay, now if I click save, it captures the second transaction also, and save is the end of FI01. So it closes FI01, control back to SSDB. Yes, done. And this is an editable mode. There is a chance of modifying by mistake. So better you go with the display mode. Save, yeah, because I started changing. Yeah. So this is the details which I am required, even the SAP required to write a BDC program for us. So first line transaction, second line, this is actually the first screen details, second screen details. First screen number is 100, program name is same between two screens. And this is start ID, dine begin, it's always X. And these are the things, it along with your fields, it capture two default informations from every screen. At the time of event triggered, where the cursor is placed, which field the cursor is placed, and what is the OK code of that event. I'm pressing the enter, the cursor, my cursor was placed in the bank key, not in the bank number, not in the bank country key. Same time, if you come to the second screen, when I press save, my cursor was with main branch, like branch field. So it's a branch. Okay. And save, what is the OK code for save? Don't worry about the value. Just that may be anything. Here you can see /00 also. We need just a value. So these two are default for every screen, BDC cursor and BDC OK code along with your field names. Okay. Okay, that's almost we are done. We can start writing the code. Before that, I'll show you a few things in SHDB itself. So go back to the main screen, and by default it takes the recent one. Normally it was with star, so you can see everything. So now if you go with your own, yes, you're able to see only yours. Okay. So now I'm going to, here you have an option to create a program. So it creates a program for you. Okay, I will show you this little later, and it creates a test data. So whatever information you entered in the first and second screen, right, with the help of the data, it creates a test file for you. We can just make use of it for our testing. Just click test data. It will ask what is the file name, and this is fi01 data, and enter. It's a file name. Okay, enter, and it shows test data has already been stored in file, the file name. This is going to be stored in your application server folder called direct temp. Okay, directory temp, you might aware of it. What is this? So go to AL11 transaction to see the application server details, server file details. In that, lot of folders or directories are available. One of the directory is dir underscore temp. If you open the temp folder or directory, you are able to find your SHDB test file with the name whatever we have provided. So this is AL11 screen, and here it is, direct temp, and my file is fi01. I think 1 second. It got pressed the other one, not the trans one. Okay, temp fi01 data. Just double click. Yes. So this file has got created with the help of your field, backend of your field, what do you call it? Length, field length. And this is has 2, and this has probably 10 or 12, and this might have 40, and this is again 2, and this is 40, and this also could be 40. Okay, so it created it. You can make use of this file for your testing. So simply you can download this, save as a file, and you can use unconverted and continue. It will give a pop-up of where you got to save it. Just proceed with that. Okay, so for some reason I'm not able to show you or recorded those details, so that is the reason I'm not going to show you in this particular video. That's very simple. Once the pop-up comes, you can save it. Okay, so we are good with the file now. Let's start write the code. Okay, so this is a program, and few thing I just wrote it over here. I don't want to waste much time. So very basic thing. Few internal tables required, few work areas are required. First internal table is IDC BDC data. It holds the data. It holds the file data, files or file source data. Okay, and this one receive the messages for every record, from call transaction statement. And what is this? This is bank data, and this is, oh sorry, this is going to be hold all the source data. This is the instruction, BDC instructions from our program. So here I'm going to write the BDC program manually. Then only it's very simple to understand and very easy to figure out what is the issue is happening in the BDC existing BDC program that might be generated for someone else. Okay, so this is a very simple program, but it's a little lengthy program. Now we have 6 fields. It depends on the fields. We have to write little lengthier code, but it's repeated code only. One field required minimum of 3 lines. One single field required minimum of 3 lines, and sometimes it is a new screens and it requires 6 lines. So that is the reason the codes are little lengthy one. Okay, and these are respective work areas. And this one, student bank, it holds the data, right? So it needs a structure. So where you can copy the structure, you can go to your 1 minute, where it is, structure SHDB slash OS11. Oh, sorry, not S11. I have to go to transaction recorder. 1 minute. Here you go, just double click. So here, these are the field names. In this scenario, in this transaction, field names and data names are same. So I used this one. Based on the value, you are able to find out. Even if you double click, it will take you to the screen for your reference. Okay, this is screen 1 details. If you double click here, anywhere here, it'll take you to the exact screen. So it's very easy to identify which screen it is. So I want 2 fields from screen 1 and 4 fields from screen 2. So these two are default fields. Okay, we are good. Now go to the program. So that's what I designed here. Okay, so 2 screen 1 and then 4 from screen 2. Okay, so now I'm going to start writing the code. As I mentioned, this is going to be inside your internal table which carries the data from any medium. Maybe here it's file. Okay, so we have to write the code to take the data from a file. That we'll do a little later. So first I'm going to start the instruction. So instruction for screen 1 field 1. So what is the what do you call it, work area? That is going to be BDC data. So here the instruction would be like this. Go to the file data is already picked. Just imagine already picked. It's going to available here. So I'm going to say the second step. Go to this program, go to the screen number, go to this field name and keep this field 1 value. So repeat the same field 2, repeat the same field 3 kind of. So here first screen has 2 fields and second screen has 4 fields. So first I'm going to say what is the program name of your screen. Program name, you are able to find it in SHDB. So this is the one. Okay, so forget about the first line. It has only a transaction code F501. I'm going to use at the end. So copy the program and go here, paste it. And Dyne Pro is 100. Okay, and then Dyne begin is always X. Okay, so this is little kind of common details, right? Common information for all the first 2 fields. So screen 1 has 2 fields, right? Because second field also is going to be the same, so I don't want to repeat it. So what is the first fields? So first field would be, so here I can mention field screen 1 field 1 is BDC cursor. Because I mentioned, right, there are 2 default fields we have to mention. So here BDC data field name is BDC cursor. Okay. And then field is where exactly the cursor was. Bank key. Done. So one field in a record, one field value, we need 5 lines. That's why BDC is little lengthier code. Okay. And now screen 1 field 2 is OK code. BDC OK code. So for this OK code, for this field, this is going to be the same. So I don't want to repeat it. So these 3 lines comes whenever there is a change in any of these 3. This is not going to change at all. And maybe the program might change for the second screen or the screen number might change. Then we have to write it. Okay. Otherwise, no, don't do that. So next one is OK code. Field value. So here you mention field name here. Okay. Field name. And field value. So better copy paste, especially the field values and all. So sometimes we may go with a different slash, then it won't work. It won't give proper information also. Slash done. And screen 1 field 2. And screen 1 field 3 is bank. Bank country key. Bank country key. So this is from your source. So technically from your work area. Okay, I missed a basic thing I missed. This needs to be append in your internal table because it's a work area, right? So once you start giving the information to the same field, it gets overwritten. Okay. And here I need this append. And field 3, I want this 4 lines of code. So now actual field starts. So this is the field name for my field, bank, country, key, and the value is from your work area of your bank data. It's from the source. I given the same name, so it's very easy for me to pick the exact right field. Okay, and final field in screen 1 is bank key. So what is the bank key name? BANKL. Paste it, and this is going to be BANKL. So I'm done with screen 1. Now screen 2. Screen 2 has a different value in the screen number. Program name is same, but screen number is different. So I have to start from the beginning, like start from the program, field name and everything. So I want this for screen 2. So this is screen 2 field. Okay, field 1. So only changes screen number, and also the BDC cursor was with branch. Copy this and paste it here. Done. And this is screen 2 field 2 as OK code. OK code field 2. So as we aware of it, so we want to copy paste it. OK code is same, and equal OK code is equal to UPDA. So field name is same, but field value is different. Done. Now 4 more fields for actual value. So let me do it and come back. So this is the code for rest of 4 fields, and field 3 is bank name, field 4 is region, 5 street, and the last one is 6 branch. Okay, so I'm done with all the code. So it's a little lengthy code, and finally I'm going to use a statement called transaction name fi01 using your internal table which holds only one record. Okay, so almost many lines for one record. Okay, and mode I want A because I want to test it. Update I prefer S. Messages into internal table. Do I have BDC message? Yes, done. Make sure, because it's in loop, okay, make sure once the transaction is success, and make sure you have to clear the internal table because it should hold always one record at a time. Okay, one whole record. The record can have multiple fields, 10 fields, 15 fields, 25, whatever it is, but it should hold only one record at a time. One record content. I'm not talking about line. Don't confuse yourself. Okay, so one record content, it should be available, but one record is splitted into so many lines. Okay, I will show you in the debugging as well, so then you'll get very good clarity. We are good. Activate. Is there any errors? No error. Fine. Now we are good to run the BDC. It calls FI0 on everything, but my base data, this internal table is empty because it's declared here. It declared and used it. It's not filled with the data. Okay, so let me show you my 3 different files, and I will show you three different function modules which I'm going to use to pull the data from three different file formats: CSV, TXT, and XLS. Okay. So this is just for your reference. Whichever file you use, just use any one of the method to pull the data from your file to an internal table. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay, so here there are three different files. This one, which I'm having a cursor, it is actually XLS format, and the right one, this is a CSV format, and this is normal TXT format. Okay, so the file could be, we can give a information to the backend or the existing system developer or database manager. So like we want a file in this format, so they can make a file and they can give it to you, where you can keep it in the application server or the local system, and you can start running or start testing your BDC program. Okay, so I'm going to write a code for each one with a different function module, and then I prefer this text because it has all details here, so anything is fine. And I prefer this .txt file for my data. From there, I'm going to push the data to my database table through transaction FA01. Okay, so let's go to the program. So first is .txt to internal table. So it's very simple function module, GUI upload. And file name is wherever you have access, that is also very important. Make sure you have access, read access from that particular folder, txt, ASCII. I don't want any separator. So let me delete all the lines so it will be easy to visible all the three different function modules. And in real time, please don't delete exceptions. Okay. And I want the data to be in my internal table bank data. So this is for text to IT. Sorry, .txt to IT. And the next one is I want CSV to IT. Okay. So we have different function modules. We have different OOPS methods also to get the data from different file to internal table. I prefer, or I used this function modules. Okay. You have a lot others also, it's possible. So this is one of the function module. So where I'm going to give my C new file.csv. Oh, sorry, it's a comma separated file. So separator is comma, and I need Excel data. Sorry, it's not Excel data, the CSV data. So because your internal table format also differs, right? It's not same for all the three. So you can get the format from the function module. Just double click e underscore intern, right? So e underscore intern is this. So this is the tables. Okay. Tables, is it a table type or the structure? It's okay, table type. It occurs only. So let me have a declaration here. ITCSV data type. Okay. And the final one is XLSX to IT. Okay. And is the famous function module, this one. Enter and give the file name. That is going to be C. One second. Yeah, it's the same name with a different extension .xlsx. Beginning column 1 row, it could be 1000 and it also 1000. And tables IT Excel data. So just delete this. And this also to be declared. And what is the reference of tables intern? It's going to be this. Data IT Excel data type this. So that's it. And these two is just for your reference. I'm going to use only the data from .txt file. So let me check it. and activate it. There is an error. Table occurs. Okay, so it's a structure then. Type table of. Okay, activate it. Yeah, it's no error. And before activating, I want to keep a breakpoint, static breakpoint here first, because I want to show you how this data are captured in the internal table. Then it's very easy for you. Depends on your requirement. You can start writing the code. And let me have a breakpoint here also, because I want to show you how the data is captured and what format the data is captured in this bank data. Okay, and I'll show you the data in these two internal table also. Okay, and finally my file data is, let me show you my file data also. Yeah, this is the file which I'm going to get it, like IN61 to 65. So these 5 records I'm going to add it to my BNKA table with the help of FI01 transaction. Okay, so let me execute my transaction. So here it stopped in my loop statement, and before executing, let me show you the content of each internal table. First one is text and CSV, and then Excel data. Okay, so bank data. So it's perfectly fit in the exact fields, because even the file is also created through SHDB, and based on the size of each field it got created, and only the bank key is different here. And then CSV data, you're able to see CSV data separated by comma. Then you have to just write a small code to get the data separated by, like, split by commas. And then this is an Excel data. It shows little lengthy one, because each field it has one row, so that is the reason it has almost 30 lines of code. No, sorry, 30 lines of data. So now I'm going to use the internal table called IT bank data. I will show you in the debugging for first record, and this is for the code for the first field in my first screen. So the screen program, screen number, and begin is always X, and the first field, the two fields are default, cursor and OK code. So that is going to be added in my internal table, BDC data internal table. This internal table is going to be have the proper instructions to the call transaction method. Okay, so field 1, and this is field 2, and the same way is going to be field 3. So field 1 and 2 is for hard-coded values, and field 3 is values from your file. Okay, so this is, I believe it's 61, it should come, yes, a 61. And same thing for rest of the fields in the second screen. And that is done, and second screen starts again. We have to change, there is a change in the screen number, so again you have to start from the first field, program. Okay, so far 4 records are added. So let me have a breakpoint here and execute fully. Done. So total 10 lines for one record. Okay, so if you open BDC data, and the better view is go with the ALV, so you're able to see the exact same of your SHDB in your internal table. So this is the internal table content. So it shows the first screen, cursor is here, OK code is enter, OK code is this one, and these are the values in passing. And this is for second screen, these are the values. So the structure is going to be same for every record. So next record probably here at 62, rest all same in my file, and in real time it's going to be changed in the every record. Okay, so this is the content of BDC data, and once your call transaction is done, you have to clear it, because it has to hold only one record at a time. Okay, now I'm going to execute it, and I'm in A mode. It shows all the screens for me, so I'm going to execute it. And it opened my FI01. Because of A, it opened the first screen and wait for the manual input, like just to continue. Okay, this is the OK code for your enter event, right? So just continue. And it takes this second screen, and it plays the values exactly same. Sometimes in BDC issue, you might receive the field is not updated, the field is getting some other values. In that case, you have to go with mode A, maybe in the debugging level. Suppose if you want to check in the same quality of production, you have to go with the debugging level. and change the mode as A, and you can do it. And one best part, the coding level is don't hard coded your mode, because if you hard coded as E, then it's very difficult for the next developer or in a quality of production to change it. Okay, so we have a structure. I will show you that on the second program. Otherwise, use a variable and allow some other developer in the production or quality to change it, especially the mode level. Okay, so don't hard code the mode value. And this is UPDA is for save for the second screen. And if you continue, it just come out of this particular screen, go to the debugging mode. Come on. Okay, so now it comes down, and now I'm going to delete the entry from BDC data. So done, one entry done. So if I execute, it's going to be gather all the instruction for entry 2. If you see the entry 62 here, yes, it's 62, and it's going to execute again with the A mode. So enter and enter, it's done, and execute. Third record 63, enter. So you'll get a message as well, the bank is getting created. 64, enter, and probably 65 is the last one, I believe. Yeah, 65, the last record from my file, it's done. So now control comes to the static breakpoint. If you see the data in this message collection internal table, you'll get the information. So what is the transaction code, program name, screen number? These are not required in the for the user level. For the developer, we have to know what is this, and especially this message is for users. So here you can see some message ID and message number, and message variable 1 and 2 got filled, but we didn't get any proper statement what is happened, and we have to pass the information to the end user. So what you have to do was you have to go to this message class BF00208. So message class is BF00 and number is 208 display. Sure, so very clearly bank was created. So if you see the debugging level, so this is bank was created, and bank key and bank number is also, it's passed in the internal table. So you know how to convert this. You have function model to convert this and convert it and display how your requirement is. Okay, so it's done, and let me execute. I don't have any write statement, so it used to go to my program directly. Okay, so now I'm going to execute again. What happens? We'll see what happens. Okay. Okay, before that, let me go to the table and make sure the entries are available. So mine is 61 to 65. Yeah, it's available. 61 to 65 is available in a BNKA table. Okay. And I'm going to execute this program again with the same data. It's actually a duplicated data. Let's see how it behaves, because 61 is a key field. It's already available. So the transaction will show an error. This bank is already created or already available. So I'll tell you how to manage it. So we have an option to ignore the particular record alone. Suppose you have 5 records in a testing level. I want to ignore the first one. I'll go with the second and third. I don't want fourth and fifth. So in that case, now if I press enter, I'll get an error. Bank 161 already exists. We have two options. You can correct it, for example, from 65. So I go with 66 and press enter. This is one way. Again, this is only for our testing level, I'm saying. Okay, UPDA, save it. Okay, and second one shows again IN62 is already exists. So what you can do is you can ignore this by using a command called slash and end. So it will just close the current record termination. So it won't close the entire session, entire FF01. Okay, just exit. It will go to the next one. Now it's so 62 I ignored, and 63 either if you know already before message, you can ignore here as well, end. So both way, either you can enter in the command field or here itself. Continue, you'll get a message. Okay, so record 1 created mean with the different bank key, and record 2 and 3 ignored. And this one maybe I can go over 65, 66. Oh, 66 also it's created, just now I created it. 67, yes. And 65, I'll go with 68. So 3 got created with new bank key out of 5. I have a static breakpoint, so that is the reason it's going installed in my program. Now if you open the message internal table, so if you open, so now it's actually 10. Last time it's only 5 records. Now it got 10. Let's see what it is. So the first record is error message type, and then I corrected with S. Okay. So 61 is error, 66 got created, and the next one is 62, and I abandoned it. That's what it comes at the A. So I ignored this one. Let me open it in ALV so it's easy to go through the entire record at once. Yeah. So and then E abandoned, and again this one I abandoned after the message come. This one I abandoned directly. So that's what it says shows. And again it's error. So 2 times it got error. So 64, and again I given a 66. Again that shows an error. It's got created. Is already created. Then I modified it to 67 success, and the last one is 65. I created with 68 and success. Okay. So this is the way it got captured all the messages for each and every record of your BDC data. Okay, and the problem is in call transaction, this is captured but it's not saved anywhere. Once you come out of your screen, all the messages, all the logs is basically logs for each record, right? It's gone. So that is the reason people don't prefer call transaction in BDC, and they always go with the BDC session method, not call transaction, because session method is executing in a different transaction. So the logs are is going to be saved at least for some time. So after some week, if you want to open and see the log, yes, you're able to do it. So that is the reason mostly BDC means they prefer BDC session than call transaction method. Okay, so just play around. This is about BDC call transaction, and probably I will show you the how to write the standard program as well as the session in the next video. Okay, so thank you so much for your time, and if you have any questions, please let me know, and see you in the next video. Bye.